Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Are trials always like this with you? Like, you're swimming up from the bottom of the lake, about to reach the surface, but no matter how hard you paddle, you never seem to get there. Pretty much. Except today we're swimming in quicksand. So, what happened to your sister anyway? Apparently she got called off to the judge's chambers. Probably something to do with that piece of cloth. So, this is where we turn this trial around, right? Our only weapon, a tiny, insignificant piece of cloth. I'm the one who's starting to feel tiny and insignificant, to tell the truth. Aw, Phoenix. Hola, partner. Ah, that guy. They say you show a red cloth to a bull, it'll fire up its temper. That's what they told me when I was a youngin' at least. Officer Marshall! Thought I'd come take a look, see at how the trial's going. Looks like I'm late. You've got the home ranch locked down tighter than a fort in enemy territory. That hard to slip out, huh? What is going on over there anyway? All the police I've seen these last 2 days have been really on edge. Don't you got enough on your plate without worrying about other people, compadre? You could be worrying about the chief prosecutor's taste in mufflers, for example. Officer Marshall? The whole muffler thing didn't have anything to do with scarves. She wasn't even wearing a scarf. You don't say. Now don't that just beat all? Confusion? I've seen the red breeze blow at her slender neck many a time. I saw it that day too. She was wearing a red muffler. What? At the war ceremony that afternoon. Edward's seen it too, I'd reckon. What does that mean? In the photograph taken at the crime scene, she wasn't wearing a scarf. It means the insignificant cloth is the muffler inside the muffler. So, Miss Starr wasn't mistaken. Well, it's about time. Remember, partner, sometimes you gotta grab the bull by the horns. And sometimes you just gotta let that bull go where it will. Time will tell. I have a bad feeling about this. So, what are we swimming in now, right? If it's steak sauce, I can hook you up with some fine ribs. Ooh-wee. Wee 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 wee. That's the sound of the police. I'd like to resume? What's up? The judge keeps looking over at the prosecution. Oh. Is something wrong, Mr. Edgeworth? Your face is blue, your lips are purple, you're sweating bullets. That furrowed brow, those grinding teeth, those watery eyes. Watery? Alright, okay, whatever. What's more, your eyes are unfocused. You're doubled over, your back is bent. It can't be. This can't happen. I wonder what happened to Mr. Edgeworth. Well then, I believe it is time we continued on with this trial. During our recess, I had requested that the prosecution conduct an investigation. This is unacceptable! It seems our prosecutor's quite beside himself. Excuse me? Knock knock? Who's there? Oh, this guy. I don't like him. I remember I didn't like him. What's with this guy? A strange stuffy aura since we filmed the courtroom. Hey! The temperature rose 5.7 degrees when that man came in. Who on earth is he? Ah, it's you. Say something, just don't blink at us. With your triple ringed pupils. Oh, sorry I'm late, Aji. The roads were packed. It's just me. Long time no see, eh, Aji? How you been? Swim much these days? Ah, hello. No, I've been so busy. Busy schmizzy, Edgy. My boy, you have to make time to relax. Yes, indeed. Edgy seems to be his nickname for the judge. I'm afraid you're right. Very afraid. Sorry, but who are you? So you're Righto, the attorney. I've heard good things about you, son. Thanks? So, sorry about our little worthy giving you all that trouble, eh? You know, we should all go swimming together sometime. Jolly! Are you like supposed to be fake British? Little worthy? Mr. Wright, you don't know the district chief of police? Chief of police? He's the top-ranking police officer in the entire district. His weird-ass eyes. Look at him. And he has the same color glasses as Emma. Maybe secret dad? No, I don't think so. Name's Gant. Damon Gant. Pleased to meet you, everyone. Is he supposed to be fake British? Maybe I'll try to put a fake British accent. And I just noticed his beard is like an upside-down seashell. And it's like gray, white, gray, white, gray, white. It's like a s'more, kind of. Alright, I'm gonna put a really bad fake accent. I'm sorry I can't do accents, but here we go. So, to what do we owe this honor today? It's been over 2 years since you last came to this courtroom, hasn't it? Well, it's Worthy here. Look at the poor fellow. I just thought I'd help out by bringing this. Hey, that's my sister's muffler. So, Miss Starr wasn't just seeing things. When the crime occurred, Miss Sky really was wearing that muffler. But to think that it was just stuffed into that exhaust pipe. On Little Worthy's car, no less. It's really quite embarrassing, even for us. What's this? It's what you'd call a switchblade knife. Quite perplexing, this. Chief, what kind of outfit are you running? Mr. Edgeworth, how could they miss such a vital piece of evidence? If your investigators are this lax, how do you expect us to do our job? Now, wait a minute, Worthy. I have no desire to hear your excuses. I'm telling you to wait. Or didn't you hear me? Shocker. Have a look at this document where it says person in charge of investigation. There's no mistaking that signature is there. Miles Edgeworth. That's not fair. On the day of the crime, I had your head in the clouds because you got that award. I know how you feel. But you're the person in charge. I'll expect a written apology. What? Are you serious? Don't be too upset. We'll find a way to clean up this mess that you made. Shock. This is the first time I've seen Mr. Edgeworth at a loss for words. This kind of major blunder is unlike you, Mr. Edgeworth. Gah. The court accepts this new evidence, but I'd like to ask the defense a favor first. Yes? Just to be sure, I'd like to take a look at this blade of this knife. The blade, Your Honor? Well, I don't see why not. Could you open it up for me, I wonder? Yes, well, I think all I have to do is push that switch, and... If I cut my finger, Mr. Wright, I wouldn't be able to pound my gavel anymore. Yeah, but if I cut my finger, I wouldn't be able to point it at people anymore. Yes, you can. Just put a band-aid over it. Come on, just hurry up and open it. Wow, that took a long time. Ooh. Wow! Don't scare me like that. I'm the one who's scared. Look at this knife blade. The tip is broken off. And this dark red stain. Blood? Found the crime scene in the muffler. This does not excuse the actions of the police department. I would like to hear an explanation from the chief of police himself. I'm terribly sorry, but could I ask you to testify for us about the split between the prosecutors and the police? And this knife. Sure thing. Not a problem. Not even a little one, really. Department in disorder. This knife is special, but I can't say how here. Unless there's evidence to prove a connection between this knife and Goodman. That was a bad day for the department. We weren't in any shape to do an investigation. Our detective was killed at the police department. See? What a mess. The time of the crime? 5:15. Scary coincidence, eh? It's not officially linked to this case, so I can't talk much about it. There was a murder at the police department? A detective? That's hush-hush information, Aji. We haven't exactly announced it yet. Wait a second. You said 5:15. That's the exact time that Detective Gooden was killed at the prosecutor's office. Order. Anyway, we at the department were all flustered, as you might well assume. We're in the middle of a top-secret investigation. Don't tell anyone, okay? I think we understand the police department's situation. Well, Mr. Wright? 2 detectives killed at the same time in 2 different places. The chances of that are really slim, scientifically speaking, of course. I'd like to exercise my right to cross-examine the witness. Very well. However, keep your questions focused on the case at hand. This knife is special, but I can't say how here. Excuse me, special? Hard to come by this particular knife anywhere else. Might that special thing be this little tag? Oh, sorry, Righto, but I can't say that now, not that. We've established that the knife in Goodman's chest was this knife. Now, why was there another knife at the scene of the crime? That's quite a mystery. And, like a mystery, it's wrapped in something. A muffler. Unless there's evidence to prove a connection between this knife and Goodman. This knife was found on the scene of our crime. I think that makes it connected to the case, don't you? See, there's a lot of things that go on at the department I can't explain. It's delicate, okay? Sorry, Righto. Maybe there's something about the knife that will give us a clue. Let's examine that knife while we can, Righto. Evidence that links a knife to Detective Goodman. I think perhaps pieces are falling into place. I should try presenting the piece of evidence that had me stumped all this time. So, how were things down at the department? That was a bad day for the department. We weren't in any shape to do an investigation. Something happened to the police department too, huh? You got a good look in your eyes there, Righto, my boy. Sharp, hungry. So, something did happen, and why wasn't I informed? Why weren't you informed? Well, why didn't you ask? No matter, I understand. You were busy, what, with Lana's case and all. Well, what happened? What happened at the police department that day? A detective was killed at the police department. See, what a mess. On the same day that a detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot, another detective was killed at the police department? That's a fact. Surprising, isn't it, Ajay? I'm at a loss for words. And the perpetrator, do you have a suspect? Well, there was a suspect. Just arrested him, in fact. Just arrested. That was quick. What? There's still a lot of unanswered questions. Maybe you could help, Righto. I suppose I could help if you help me by giving me data on your case. Ooh, good one! This kid's sharp! Okay, here's the deal. I'll tell you one thing, and only one thing. I know the victim died at 5:15, right? So... where the victim was found, I guess? So, tell me, where was the victim found? Well, I can't speak on where the corpse was found, but I can say the crime took place in the evidence room at the police department. The evidence room? Wouldn't know about the evidence room, would you, Righto? I can't say I've heard of it. I guess you'd ask again once I learn a bit more about this evidence room. There's something stranger about this than the place where the body was found. The time of the crime? 5:15. Scary coincidence, eh? 5:15? But that's when Detective Goodman was killed in the prosecutor's office. What? Funny, ain't it? A murder at the prosecutor's place and a murder at her place at the very same time. What are the chances? Coincidence? This is just my gut feeling, but I'd say there's a 0.001% chance of that happening. Chief Gant, please tell us more about the incident. It's not officially linked to this here case, so I can't talk much about it. How can you say there's no connection? How? Because I'm the chief of police. I can't just say anything I please, Righto. You understand. Try to understand, Righto. Well, if you can prove there's a connection, more power to you. Maybe there is something that ties the two murders together. Whatever it is, I'd better find it and get to the bottom of this. 2 detectives were killed at 5:15, one at the prosecutor's office, and one at the police department. That can't be a coincidence. And that knife. What was it doing there? I better check this knife out. Okay, so I gotta check the knife out. Here. SL9-2? Oops. Can I read it? So I pressed the button already. How do I move to the... How do I move my cursor to... There it goes, okay. There's a small tag on the knife. It says SL92. What's that supposed to mean? I'm not sure, but it reminds me of a similar code. Oh, excuse me. DL6? Maybe it's a case number. That's weird. What? I don't remember where, but I think I've seen something like this before. Something similar to what's written on this tag. It wasn't long ago either. Maybe check the court records again. Anything else I can look at? Maybe the little oily spot? No? How about this 20T tip? No? Nothing about the bloody tip? Or the fingerprint? Okay, alright. So I think it's connected to that little weird note, right? So it's like... SL9? And that's what the knife says, right? Before I go there... So I don't know whether to present it now because there was 3 options, right? So was it this one that I pressed? Or was it this one that I pressed? Okay, no, so maybe I'll try pressing it here. Because they say I should try to present it. There we go. Wait a second. Oh, that's lost. An honest-to-goodness objection. This knife. This has to have something to do with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? Aha! An honest-to-goodness. What do you mean from Ajay? This is great. Look at the tag on this knife. It reads SL9 too. And this is important. Why? Over here we also have a note that was on the body of the victim. What's this? 6 minus 7s 12/2? Your Honor, it's upside down. Upside. The printed name on the memo makes it look like it's right side up. But turn it around and what do you get? Aha! Whoever wrote this note was holding the paper upside down. It's unknown. That's the same thing that's written on the knife's tag. Order, order. Well, Chief? Ah, well. I guess the cat's out of the bag. You win, righto. I win? What game is this guy playing? The knife was evidence in a case. It was stolen from the department's evidence room. So this knife was stolen? Yes, but on the day of the murder. It was evidence, you say? Was it in fact a murder weapon? Nice, nice, nice! Good show, little worthy. It was a murder weapon as it happens. It was evidence from a case long since solved. So this knife was stolen on the day of the murder, and was found in the exhaust pipe of Edward's car. Hard to think there isn't a connection here. It was a bad day for the department when we should do an investigation. Coincidence. So I guess this is where I press again to have like those 3 other options. Okay, deal. So how was the victim killed? Well, how was the detective killed? How was he killed? Now that's the interesting part. He was what we in the force call a stabbing with a knife. Knife? That's exactly the same as Detective Goodman. That's the spirits we're cooking now. But you do. That's not the only thing that was exactly the same. What do you mean? There were more similarities between the 2 cases than the cause of death. It seems like I'm going to have to press this a bit harder. Okay, I'm gonna press it again. When the victim died. We already know, 5:15. So, when did the murder at the police department occur? Now, that's a sharp question, Brighto, my boy. Well, my boy, you're gonna love this. Oh, it's the same thing. Okay. 5:15? So it's the same, right? It's like the same writing. I'm not interested into this case here, so I can't talk much about it. Do I present the knife again? Or do I press this one again? Maybe there's something that tied the 2 murders together. The evidence knife. Right? Doesn't the evidence knife? What? Oh crap, I missed it. Evidence room. How much about it? Oh, no, maybe I can... Because I remember he was saying that we have to press him again, right? So, I guess I'll say where the victim was found again? No, it's the same. Oh, okay, here we go. The evidence room. Did he mention that in his testimony just now? This knife was evidence in the case. It was stolen from the department's evidence room. There's a connection between the two cases. You seem happy, Mr. Wright. Happy? Happy? We just got handed our ticket to go to town on this case. With the link between the two cases established, we finally have some leverage. Now we can get Gam to testify about the details. How? Do I just press him here? Yes. Chief. The defense's position is simply this. The connection between these two cases has already been proven. Heh, you don't say. Well, out with it, Righto. What's your connection? Yes, out with it, Mr. Wright. The connection is a place mentioned in the testimony we just heard. The knife found in the lot was stolen from the police department's evidence room. Not to mention the victim had on him the case number on the knife's evidence tag. And we also know that the detective murdered at the police department was killed in that very same evidence room. Indeed. There do seem to be too many connections for it to be coincidence. You two make a good pair. It took my men 2 days to find out what you deduced right here. Chief, I request that you release your information on the victim at the police department. See, that's the tricky part. It hasn't been announced yet and all. Can we get the information? Unofficially? Sure, why not? It's unofficial after all. What? Really? Who would have guessed? I'll cooperate, but I can't reveal the name of the victim at the department, okay? If you're going to tell us little, why not tell us everything? Ah, well, case information is sticky stuff. You have to do everything properly. Oh well, I guess I might as well try to get what I can out of him. I'm gonna do all 3 of them. Okay, well, what division was this victim stationed in? Oh, you want to know that, do you? Do you? Criminal Affairs, Division 1. The detective is responsible for homicide cases. Homicide? Maybe the same division as Detective Gumshoe. Detective Goodman, who was killed in the underground parking lot, was homicide too. It's almost like a serial killer was after homicide detectives. Except this serial killing happened simultaneously, scientifically speaking. Well, I sure hope Detective Gumshoe isn't next on the list. Okay, yep. I'm gonna press it again. Yeah. Keep on. Alright, press again. Gonna tell us everything. Ah, well, okay, remember superstar. I have the victim's ID number. Okay, how about you tell me the victim's ID number? Sure, why not? It's not like you'll be able to tell who it is from that. Of course not. You won't tell me their name after all. We keep a tight lid on ID numbers, so don't go getting your hopes up. Number is 5842189. Well, that's quite long. And we have to remember these. It drives me nuts. I can't do it. You didn't even get the first number right. Well, Mr. Wright, does this tell you anything? The ID number of the victim at the police department, 5842189. Yes. Because it's probably the same ID card as Goodman. Actually, it does, Your Honor. It does. I think. Meaning? It has to be what I think it is. But what does this mean? Well, let's see what the defense has to say. You say the ID number of the detective who was murdered at the police department. It tells you something. What does it tell you? It tells me this. Yeah. Witness. Oops. What is it, Mr. Wright? You're grinning like a schoolgirl on prom night. No, it's just... I got confused. And this is news? Huh? Just come out with it, both guns blazing like you always do. The police department, the prosecutor's office. 2 places, 2 detectives, murdered at one time. Actually, I happen to have a police ID number here. Oh ho, is it yours? No, Your Honor, I'm a defense attorney, remember? This is the ID number of our victim, Detective Goodman. Shame on you, Wright. Personal IDs are top secret! Detective Goodman's ID number is 584-2189. And this means what exactly? Huh? Wait, that ID number we heard from the chief earlier. That started with 82. I've forgotten. You didn't get the first number right again! The number of the chief of police gave us was 584-2189. Wait a second, Wright. What does this mean? Mean? That's what I want to know. The 2 ID numbers are identical. In other words, the detective killed in the police department's evidence room was Bruce Goodman. What does our witness think about that? Oh, sharp as a tack, righto? Sharp as a tack. But wait, Detective Goodman is our victim. He was killed at 5:15 in the underground parking lot. Yet, Detective Bruce Goodman was also killed at the police department, in the evidence room, at the exact same time. That's impossible! So what we're saying is, the same person was killed at the same time, and in a completely different location. Order, order, order. Chief, what does this mean? No. What I want to know is, why didn't I hear about this? Yes, it's top secret, fine. But I'm the prosecutor in charge of the case. Now, just wait a second, Worthy. No need to get all flustered. Your Honor, the police department has made a grave error in this case. Wait. Ooh, evil. I said wait, or didn't you hear me? The oversight, the grave error. Mr. Edgeworth, they're yours. What? How dare? We informed you yesterday. I believe it was our Officer Meekins who brought you the news. Officer Meekins? Mr. Wright, where have we heard that name before? Wait, aha! The little squeaky dude. Excuse me, but is Mr. Edgeworth anywhere on the premises? I'm here, sir, at the request of Chief, sir. I've got your report, sir. I can't. I'm sorry, my voices are back. You don't mean him? According to Makins, you didn't accept the report. Hard to believe. But your officer, he told me. He said the report had nothing to do with the Lana Sky incident. Detective Bruce Goodman, murdered in the police department evidence room. Mr. Edgeworth, the victim's name is written right on top of the report. Gah. Well, why didn't your officer tell me? Honestly, I'm not sure if that officer was capable of making the connection. He did seem challenged. In any case, this is a serious error, a gross negligence of duty on your part, Worthy. But sir, you could have submitted that report this morning to the court as evidence. Then no such luck this time, Worthy. Or should I say, unworthy? What? Now, what was the second rule of evidence law? Well, Mr. Wright? Huh? Oh, well, it's, Rule 2. unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And how is this rule relevant? Normally, you submit a list of evidence to be used in court before the trial. This report wasn't on that list. So, what does this mean? I couldn't submit this evidence until a connection was proven in court. What we just did, I guess, a few minutes ago. The connection was just proven by Wright over here. Good job, Wright, my boy. Huh? I was just doing my job. No. No. It seems we have come to the end of this trial. I know you're going through a tough time, Worthy. What with all those rumors? You were even in the defendant's chair just this past December. Shock. I apologize for this terrible lack of due diligence on my part. But Mr. Edgeworth, please, just give me one day. I'll get to the bottom of what happened, if it's the last thing I do. You'd better get results this time, really. You have my profound apologies, sir. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. I don't think there's ever been an error this serious in the history of this court. I will grant one further day as the prosecution has requested. Will that be sufficient, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Whatever your punishment for this is, for your sake I hope it's not decisive. Very well. Court is adjourned. Oh wow, that was a quick one. Alright, I'll see you all in the next video.